On this episode of YaEat, we will be making chicken cacciatore over linguine. Don't go anywhere, you're not going to want to miss this tasty and simple recipe. Hello everyone, and welcome to the 26th episode of YaEat. As usual, I'm really excited to have you here, and I'm looking forward to today's recipe. Today, we're going to be making chicken cacciatore. This classic Italian dish is a home run no matter how you slice it up. It's a delicious comfort food, really simple, and it basically kind of cooks on its own. So I'm ready to make some chicken cacciatore. Are you ready? Here we go. Print this and all our recipes on YaEat.tv. And now, a YaEat educational moment. Today we are featuring chicken cacciatore. Cacciatore means hunter in Italian, and it is hunters who first ate this dish. In fact, it is thought that the first chicken cacciatore was not made with chicken at all, but with rabbit and other wild game, sometimes during the Renaissance period between the 14th and 16th century. This has been a YaEat educational moment. Okay, let's get started by adding some extra virgin olive oil to our sauté pan. Let's remove any excess skin from the chicken thigh. You can also remove the skin altogether or substitute a boneless, skinless chicken thigh. To make the portions a little more uniform, there's a bone that goes straight from the top to the bottom, and I just cut along the bone and split this thigh in half. To keep the cleanup to a minimum, I just placed a piece of wax paper on top of my cutting board. We're going to season the chicken with salt and pepper. We'll turn on the flame and heat up the oil. While the oil is heating up, let's place the chicken in a bag, and we're going to add 1 cup of flour that has 1 teaspoon of salt added to it. Let's seal the bag and give it a good shake. Now that your chicken is completely coated in flour, shake off the excess and start to place it in the pan once the oil is heated up. On a medium heat, you're going to brown your chicken golden on both sides and then remove to drain excess oil. There are so many different recipe variations of chicken cacciatore. Just do your thing, and as long as it tastes good, that's all that matters. Oh, I do feel strong about one part of the recipe, and that's dredging the chicken in flour. Let's add 4 cloves of garlic to the pan. I do not recommend just cooking the chicken without any flour. You can get a lot of prep done while the chicken is cooking, so I got 1 Spanish onion, and I started to cut that up. We'll put that in a bowl, and then I started to cut up 3 peppers. Once your garlic is nicely browned, let's remove it from the sauté pan and we'll save it for later. The chicken has a really nice color to it, so let's remove it from the pan and we'll drain it on a paper towel or rack. So if you watch previous episodes, I'm not a big fan of green bell peppers, and I use a red, yellow, and orange pepper, but you can use a green pepper if you like. We'll add the peppers along with the onion to the pan and season it with salt and pepper and a pinch of oregano. I have San Marzano whole peeled tomatoes that we're going to add in a minute. First, we want to cook our peppers and onions about 25%, and then we're going to add the roasted garlic to it. We're going to chop up the garlic and add that to the peppers and onions. After you add the garlic, you can hand crush your tomatoes, and we're going to add that to the pan. Just make sure your tomatoes submerged under the juice or it will squirt on you. Before adding tomatoes to the pan, let's deglaze it with either a 1/4 cup of white wine or chicken stock. Have you subscribed to our channel yet? Don't forget to click on the bell. We can add the tomatoes to the pan now, and we're going to add some chicken stock to dilute the tomatoes, and over time I added about 1 cup of chicken stock. I thickly cut some white button mushrooms and added them to the pan. Let's put the chicken back in the pan and submerge it under the sauce. We're going to add a little fresh basil, and we'll adjust any seasoning at this time. We're going to lower the flame all the way down, cover, and simmer for about 1 to 1.5 hours. I'm going to be serving the chicken cacciatore over linguine today, but it goes just as well with rice or potato on the side. I like to put the Kalamata Olives in at the end, so when I cook the pastas, usually when I add them, about 10 to 15 minutes before I'm ready to eat. You can cook your pasta ahead of time. Just make sure that you cook it al dente, and after draining it, you shock it with cold water so it stops cooking. So my sauté pan was getting a little overcrowded, and I wanted to add more chicken stock, so I just transferred everything into a bigger pot. Now, I did cook the pasta ahead of time while I was waiting for the chicken cacciatore to cook. And to heat it up, we just have to add a little sauce to a saute pan, turn the flame on, it'll heat up in about 2 minutes, and believe me when I tell you, this pasta is still al dente. If you're going to take the pasta directly from the hot water, you still need to do this process, you just don't have to turn the flame on. By doing this process, the pasta absorbs some of the sauce. Once your pasta is nice and hot, you're going to add a little pecorino romano cheese, give it a quick toss, and we're ready to put this on the plate. You can always adjust the consistency of the sauce by adding a little more chicken stock. Now we just want to arrange the chicken over the pasta and make it look as nice as possible. We want it to look as good as it tastes. I like to place the chicken around the side of the plate and then place the sauce over the pasta and make sure I have a nice distribution of the peppers, onions, mushrooms, and olives. We'll finish it up with some shredded basil, and we are done. Chicken cacciatore over linguine. You eat? You want to eat? Make this recipe. It's delicious. Okay, that's it. It's our chicken cacciatore for today. So let's give it a little taste test. Oh. Put a little pecorino romano cheese on first. You're going to want to make this. Well, another recipe in the books. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate all your support. Don't forget, we'll be back next Wednesday and every Wednesday. Have a great week.
Già l'affettai a casa. È un'altra famiglia. Io ci disi che venia a parlare con voi, che Massia capisce ragione e sa cosa doveva fare. Io si sbarazzati da besci che cos'ha tutto sto casino. E allora? Era male figure che non vincolino. Un cane a prestare. Sto cazzo! E sto cazzo sì, che sta andando a casa come un ordine a mia mano di comanda. Oh, poi stare attenta come parli con me, capiste? Ma se noi con una cosa un po' non sa quando ti manda a sbattere, andate a faccio volare in mezzo alla strada, andate a basso. Come ne capiamo male? Ma non come ne capiamo male? Ma come? La signora Colombo può stare in ta casa. 5 scuole ce l'ho, va bene? 10 ce ne levo, Don Vito. 10. Grazie. Una tazza di caffè. Ma io volissimo.
Non voglio caffè.
Fai un appuntamento. Ne facciamo un tino sono scorsi, ma stavolta mi da scusare perché io proprio la bucante, scialamo, e pure a me mi piace stare con voi, sapete, perché lo capisci che voi siete un amico vero con me, ma io stavolta proprio, ma io sto perdendo proprio, Migno, appena mi chiamate, tu mi chiamate io arrivo qua.